All right. Good afternoon once again. So like I said, we are looking at introduction to Python. Now, before we look at the definition, I would like to brief us on as regards to why is Python involved in this program. This is data analytics class, and we are mentioning what? Python. How does it relate to this field? But as we all know, there is a general umbrella that covers the field of data analysis, which is called data what? Science. Data science. Now, currently, one of the best used programming language for data science or data analysis is Python. The reason is that it has so many libraries that can help us to access different functions for analyzing or manipulating data. So I believe in the course of the training, I'll still get to that aspect where I will highlight some of the key reasons why Python is one of the preferred use language for data science. So let's start with what is Python programming language. What is Python programming language? You see, what Excel has done is to give you analytics what? Foundation. The foundation you have derived from Excel is expected to be applied as you learn these other advanced tools for data analysis. Now, the way we give the training here is that we understand that some of you have not been trained on Python. Or let me start by asking this question. How many of us have been trained on Python programming outside using this for data analysis? Do we have anybody? No. Now, it will be wrong for us to just take you into applying it. The application of the Python is what we actually use in data analysis. So which means that you ought to have graduated from Python class before what? Coming to what? Data analysis. Now, what we do is to give us 50% of Python training, as if you are learning Python just for building applications, not relating to data analysis. So we are going to spend, since we meet twice in a week, there's every possibility that we are going to spend the first 2 to 3 classes on learning pure Python without involving data, so that we can have good word foundation. Because I will not want a situation whereby I want to write function and somebody is asking me that I don't know why I'm defining function in this syntax. Or I mention word like variable and somebody is wondering what is variable. So that is why starting with this class, so probably the next class and the following class, I'm dedicating these first 3 classes for just learning what? Python basics first. So let's go ahead. Python is a high-level interpreted programming language. Python is a high-level interpreted programming language. But I want us to underline interpreted, because I'm coming back to tell us why some of these words are used in the definition. It's a high-level interpreted programming language that is widely used for various purposes. That is widely used for various purposes. Widely used for various purposes. such as web development. Underline this application: web development, scientific computing, data analysis, artificial intelligence, and more. One language cutting across this different domain. Now you can clearly see why today Python is the leading programming AI language. Scientific computing, data analysis / data science, if you want to write it that way, and then artificial intelligence and more. But I just have to highlight this key area. So there is no programming language at the moment that is actually fully craft like Python. I'm a web developer. I use Python to implement my backend using a framework called the Django. I'm also using the same Python now in data analytics. This same Python, I'm using it in cybersecurity as my scripting language. So you can see that almost in every sector, Python is represented. But you know what? It's one of the simplest programming language. And it's everywhere. So let's quickly discuss some of the key features of Python. Quickly, let's highlight some of these attributes. Key features of Python. So from here, you now know the reason why most programmers today are flowing with Python, because of some of these key features. Number one, easy to learn. Easy to learn. Easy to learn. You are going to see how simple it is as we proceed. You will even forget using Excel. I don't like even using Excel for data analysis. But the only way you'll be able to get to that level is when you have turned Python to language that you play with. Because there are some functions in Excel that you have to start highlighting one column, pick criteria. I will write one short code and then get the answer. So it's very easy to learn. Children these days now, you can see them learning Python. So what makes it easy to learn? Quickly, just brief explanation on this key feature. Python has a simple syntax. I'm still explaining that first key feature, easy to learn. Python has a simple syntax and is relatively easy to learn. I want us to underline the word syntax. Syntax is spelled S-Y-N-T-A-X. Syntax. So let me just go off a little bit from this and tell us what syntax is in programming, because in the course of the training, anytime I use syntax, I want us to understand what it means. The word syntax is a programming term. You hardly see programmer without using syntax. Syntax is a common term used in programming. I said the word syntax is a programming term used to describe set of rules as command, used to describe set of rules that govern or control the way the program should be written, that govern or control the way the program should be written. So that is the meaning of syntax. How many of us know that when you say you are a programmer, because this is the background, these 3 classes we give to us. So at the end of these 3 classes, I can say I'm a programmer. You can also say that you are a programmer, not data analyst to programmer. They ask you which program can you use. You say I can code with Python.
So if you graduate now and you see a vacancy that says we need somebody that have Python background, this is not, you can what? Key in. So in programming, when we use the word syntax, it's just like Hausa, it's just like Isoko, it's just like Urobo. They all have ways of speaking, right? They are dialects, right? Now, what we are saying is that there is a format the language flows. And once you miss that format, what do you experience? You start speaking jargon. So every programming language has its own what? Syntax, set of rules. A speaker of that language must what? Follow. So I believe that is registered. So why is Python simple? Why is Python simple? It's not notes, I'm asking you a question. Because the syntax, the rules, they are simple. The rules, you know, there's a language that before you can speak, just come. You almost bite your tongue. But this one, very simple. So when we get to the variable aspect, you now see the reason why it's simple. There are so many things Python tolerates. If you try that in Java, if you try that in C++, if you try that in C# or try that in JavaScript, you'll be in trouble. But Python will just overlook them. Can anybody tell me why Python overlook at some of these things? If you can get it next class before I start, say, sir, you are owing me 1 more Guinness. Why is Python? What makes Python to overlook at so many things that other one prioritize? That until you do them, you cannot execute your code. Hey, it's small. Yes, you are there, but there is a keyword I'm looking for. Eh? It's an open source code. That is not this. Because it is a high level. Okay, let me save my money. Let me save my money because somebody is like, Igwe want to keep trying. Now, it is the AI. So those things that you are thinking that Python does not bother is augmenting them with his own what? Intelligence. Those other languages that we count on, you must do everything. They don't have AI like Python to augment them for you. So that is why it is very simple. See, I always tell people, when I started tech, 2003, then, it was difficult to learn. The way people are learning easily today, it's not like that. It's not like that. Tech now, what you need, let me give you this scope. What you need now is just an intro. Everything you need to upgrade yourself, AI can sort it out. So you don't need to spend years like some of us did. Because once you have the intro background, ChatGPT, you will see how I will use ChatGPT to construct analysis questions, which these are the things on your own. You try looking at data. This data, what are the questions I can answer? ChatGPT can give you questions that even you can never think of. So that is why we are saying that AI is taking over. But the taking over now, AI is not going to take the job from the professional. It's from what? The average users. So people like me now, AI is helping me a lot. I'm flowing easily in all the areas I'm good at because now I'm not doing much what? Manual work. Because I have the domain expertise. I know what to ask. At the same time, the AI keeps you. So don't be a lazy. So make sure that you understand what you are doing. So let's look at another key feature of Python. High-level language. Why do we say that it's high-level language? So this is where I want to break it down. We are still looking at what? The key features. What makes Python what it is today. That everybody is running after it. Number 2 is what? High-level what? Language. What do we mean by high-level language? Python is a high-level language. Python is a high-level language. in brackets, just to express the meaning of that. Meaning it abstracts away, meaning it abstracts away many low-level details. Many low-level details, allowing developers to focus on the logic. This is exactly what I was explaining before, that Python tolerates because it augments what? So many things that will have been done manually. So now a developer using Python does no longer depend or focus on what? The low-level detail. Rather, they just focus on what? The logic. They just focus on the logic, allowing developers to focus on the logic of the program. So it takes away many low-level details, right? Allowing developers to focus on the logic of the program. So the logic is the what? The control structure. The logic is the flow charts, the algorithm. I believe if you have done computer science, you understand some of these terms I'm using now. Flow charts, algorithm, as was step by step. Let's quickly look at another key feature of Python, interpreted language. This is one of the reasons why Python is being considered today across board. Interpreted language. So what does that mean? Python code is interpreted line by line. Python code is interpreted line by line. Python code is interpreted line by line, making it easier to write and test code. Making it easier to write and test code. So let me just pause here and explain something to us so that when we start now, I don't want you people to be scared. It is normal. I have trained a lot of students and I've never seen a session completely where nobody complained that the program is hard. One person was what? Complain or two. And it is normal. I want to break it down. How many of us can speak Hausa here? You can speak Hausa already. Nobody, right? Now, is Hausa a language? Right? English is a language, right? You know how many years you have spent schooling before you can speak the English you are speaking. You started from where? KG what? KG what, right? How many years? No. So that it is normal when somebody is learning the language and it's difficult. Don't run away because it's difficult. It is normal. Good, if I'm not mistaken, how many years? And you are still learning the English. So now you now tell me that I registered for JavaScript. So I expect that one, Mr. Prosper, just explain one code within a few minutes. I should flow with it. If it happens, glory to God. If it does not, you should not give up. After all, it's not your own language. So the same thing I'm saying here. When code are executed, we have what? Writing of code, execution of the code, and deployment of the code. These are the three phases involved in programming. Writing of the code, execution of the code, and what? Deployment of what? The code. Most time, the writing and the last one, they are the most challenging aspect of it. The OPay app, if they tell you how long it took them before to confirm all the features, transfer button working, deposit working, all those buttons working, you will know that, you say months. Okay, months. It is months now because what? They are using Python as what? AI language. Let's go back to those days when Python was not there. Let me tell you, they can use 3 years to be developing an app, 3 good years. the whole app can work. Only one button will not work. And for that button to work, you have to reset most things. That is why programming, the benefit of programming is that it increases your what? Your thinking ability. These are people companies are waiting to employ as managers, CEO, people that can think outside the box when business is not working. We data analysts, now you are gradually knowing the reason why what? It concerns you as a data analyst. One of the attributes of characteristics of a data analyst is what? What makes you a data analyst? Problem solving, critical what? Thinking. Look at the data you are given. The owner of that data must have been looking at that data for years, but he does not know that that data can make sense. Look at the insights you brought from that data. If you present that to the owner, you will be shocked, wow. So this data that I've been looking at with ordinary eyes, so it makes sense like this. How were you able to do that? Critical thinking. Now, when you write code have lines. We have what? Line 1, line 2, line 3. Then when you run, that is what? Execution now, testing now. The order of verifying the code start from top. No programming language verify code from what? From the bottom. The order is always what? From top. Now, this is where we say what? Interpreted. Now, there's a place I measure what? Line by line, Abi? Good. Now, there are some programming languages that if one function is wrong in the second line, other line will not be executed. But Python, each line is an independent. Each line is an independent, which means that even if one line is not working, does not mean that it will not jump it and verify what? The other. That is why in programming those days, you will write a code, you'll be seeing only one problem. Once you solve that problem, other ones are at the back, they are waiting. Once you solve that one, other one will show. But that first time, you are not seeing them. Why? Because what? They were waiting. But today, every other one will run and tell you where you have all the errors at once. Which means that what? The first one that have error did not stop what? The other ones. That is what? Interpreted what? Let's go back. You can see the reason why it's easy. Number 4, object-oriented. Object-oriented. We are looking at the key features of Python as a programming language. Object-oriented. When we say a program is object-oriented what? Program. Oops. That is what? O-O-P. That is what? Object-oriented what? Programming. So let's look at what it means. Python is an object-oriented language. Python is an object-oriented language, comma, which means it organizes code. You see it now? It structures the code, which means it organizes code into objects. So there are some keywords I want us to underline there. Organizes code, underline it. Which other one I just use now? Into object, underline object, or maybe into object, underline those two words. That contain data and functions. That contain data and functions. Now let me break it down here. If code are not properly what? Sequenced, there's possibility of what? Some things not what? Falling in place. But as we are writing, everything is well organized. And it enhances what? Code execution. Number 5, before we look at another topic, large standard library. This is the main reason I'm looking at. If somebody asks you today now or tomorrow, why is Python everywhere? What will be your answer? Why is Python everywhere? It has large what? Standard library. Now, before you can decode this message, you must know what is called program library. In brackets, libraries programming library can be defined as collection of functions. Collection of functions. Simple as that. So anytime I use the word library, what I am simply saying is what? A storage where what? Set of functions are what? Saved. So look at this here. As a data analyst, sometimes it's very easy to say, I analyze it. I can use Python. Are you sure you use Python? What you use is that you use Python libraries. You are not using pure Python. You are using what? Python what? Libraries. But the reason why you are claiming that you know Python, because what? You are referring to the language that created what? Those functions. Because when you go for interview, the way they will ask you is that if you claim you know Python, what are the libraries you use? Where do you get the functions from? The functions that you use to analyze, to draw insights from your data, where do you derive them from? Do you write them manually or you call them from somewhere? You are writing them, but they have already been initiated in the what? The program. You are only what? How do I put it? You are recognizing them. Just like I said, you wrote sum, right? You type SUM. Does it mean that is that the first time it has been programmed in Excel word spreadsheet? No. So you can't say that you are the one that wrote sum. You only what? Call it out. Okay, good. Now, let me define that what? Large library. Large what? Standard library. Python has a vast collection of libraries and modules. Python has a vast collection of libraries and modules that makes it suitable for a wide range of applications. So that is why you see Python everywhere. We talk about Java now. Java is mainly for what? App development. If we take Java out of app development, is it still there? Why? Because it's limited with what? Library. It does not have library. These libraries, they are like, let me bring it in a layman term, as plugins. Plugin, your phone now, there are some files that when you want to read and say what? You need to install what? Certain what? Plugin. This plugin means what? It's just like set of command that you are populating the device with. And the application you are using probably need one of those what? Function. So that is why we will now be importing them. We'll be importing them into our development environment. That will call framework, which I'm going to expatiate on in a few minutes. If I ask you now, which framework do you use in Excel? Spreadsheets. A data analyst needs an interface that brings all data components or aspects in one place before you can what? Talk to the data. A data what? Holder. In Excel, spreadsheet was playing two roles. Spreadsheet was acting as a library, at the same time acting as what? The framework. But in Python, they are separated. You see the difference now. In SQL, they are separated. You can't have them in one place. So in Python, you are going to start by installing a server. After installing a server, through the server, you access the framework. Then you now import library. You see the connection now. You get the server because Python is a server-side programming language. It is not a standalone. You don't need to install a server before you install Microsoft Word or Excel. They are not server-side, they are just application. But SQL need a server, Python need a server. So now, why I am mentioning all this, so that you know the reason why the next topic I'm going to talk about now. Because we are going to look at applications, software to be installed. before you can use Python to what? To analyze data. So you will need a server. The server, you need a framework, and then you need to what? Import what? Libraries. Okay. Any question? I think I just want to stop at 5 keywords, features of Python. Any question before we go into the next topic? If you don't have question, then I can ask. Your question will cancel my question. Madam Abigail, are you following? Okay. Emeka, you have question? Sorry, not do your introduction. I don't know your name. Okay, Nora, have you? No. Okay, Naomi. But that was not the name. Okay. That's the name. Okay. So, Naomi, please, do you have question? Okay, you have. Okay, no, okay. Please add them to the group, please. I don't understand. We are coming to that, and that's the next topic. I just dive into it because I need to explain something there. So while I'm waiting for her to come before I introduce the new topic, so let me just engage us with it. So far, so good. If you are asked, which programming language do you desire to learn? You learn Python. So why do you want to choose learning Python? One, so many applications, right? Good. Which means that after learning Python, by tomorrow, because one thing in tech, please, you have to be sensitive. If I tell you how many domains I have switched from, and the one I am switching into, and I'll tell you the reason. What is raining today may not be raining the next 5 years. Right. Since 2003, I started with graphic design. Though graphic design is still trying, though, it's still very much available to an extent. But AI does not have apps now. AI is spoiling our business seriously. AI don't collect. Yes, they collect, but there are some serious design that AI will not do. So, and when we get there, we charge them for those days that we are not getting the job. Don't worry, you know how to get there. We are going there. So now, what I'm saying is that whenever you want to learn any test skill, don't learn any house skill. I select to any skill I want to learn. I will see that if you cannot give me money, I'll not waste my time. I don't waste my time learning skill that does not fetch me money, either now or what in the nearest what future. Because tech is expensive. You can invest your time and your money, and you're not making it. Why will I go and learn a programming language that is just one direction? I can tell you for free that what the next 100 years, Python will still be reigning. Most of the technology that are invoked now, and even the next 20 years, they will still have what? Connection to what? Python. That is why you see that what the AI you are hearing today now is the Python application. If you finish this program now, you want to learn web development now. Oh, you already have got what? Basic what? Python. So you are not going to be looking like novice. Okay, since she's here, let's proceed. So the next topic is program/software to install on my system in order to use Python for data science or analytics. So we need to be informed. And the way I do it in my class, the only program that if you come to me to install, I'll collect money from you is what? Excel. Because I expect that before you come here, every computer should have what? Office. So if you don't have it, I will charge you for installing. But you see other ones, we will do it in the class together. Why? Because if you graduate now, you cannot go to Kowe. Kowe engineer cannot install all this software. They first under what? Specialized what? Software. So you should know how to go about their installation. And that is why I want to give us their information. Now, number one software you need is a server software or application. Number one software you need is a server. Server or what? I said what? Application. Good. From the name server, what does it? Who can tell us what that software is going to do? Server. The folder.
The application that holds Python.
If you have to serve me food, who are you? From there, let's get it right.
No, I just use that scenario so that you understand. Say, a software is a server, so that you understand. I'm just trying to give us clue. She's getting it, but I want more. Good.
You have to on that server to get information to use some of these applications in this work. That's why I said.
No, you are correct. So in the layman way, I just want more technical description. I understand you, eh? So, but I want different view. How do you understand server? Good, helping.
Like someone you go to get access.
That means the folder concept too, where you go to get access. Let's note it down. Server. Server application or software, they are service what? Providers. They are service what? Providers. That is, they fund other application or program. That is, they fund. If you are funding my bill, you are the one sponsoring. Good, let's use the word what? They sponsor. That's the keyword. So, yes, service provider that sponsor other what? Programs. So, which means that what? They are like the ladder holding what? If they are not there, the other one cannot stand. So when we say a Python is a server side, it means that what? There must be a what? A service what? Provider. So you need a service what? Software. Example of it is Anaconda, right? It's example of the one we are going to use. Example of the server. Python server for data analysis is what? Anaconda. Anaconda. That is snake. Oh, yes, I know. Anaconda. So what is Anaconda? Anaconda is a server that fund or sponsor over 250 softwares. That sponsor over 250 software. So just like a house that houses, including the framework that you need. So that is why once I install my Anaconda, I don't need to install my framework separately, because inside the Anaconda, that is where my framework is. So I think let me just project it on the window. This is the Anaconda. These are what? These are the software that it houses that I'm talking about. Over 250. Some can be integrated. Now, anyone you see installed, it means that what? It has offered you the link to install it directly inside here without what? Installing it what? Independently. So from here, this is the framework we are going to use. Jupyter what? Notebook. That is our own framework. All these framework we are seeing, all of them are not for only you as a data what? Analyst. There are other fields that also uses what? Anaconda. So let's look at the next set of what? Software you need to install. We are still on which topic? or application, right? Number 2, framework. Framework. So what is framework application? Framework application is a software that offers data analysts or scientists a development environment that is an interface. That's the meaning of that development now. That is an interface that can be used to write and execute code. An interface that can be used to write and execute code, which is also known as what? IDE, Integrated Development Environment, in programming. Any form of interface that helps you to write, execute your code, or test your code, it is called what? An IDE. So if we are asked tomorrow that, okay, yes, you use Python. Which server do you use? I use what? Anaconda. Which environment do you use? Jupyter what? Notebook. Good. Hope I'm communicating. All right. Now, let me just throw up so that you can see how they define it briefly. That a Jupyter Notebook is a web-based interactive computing notebook environment. Edit and run what? Human readable what? Documents, while describing the what? Data what? Analysis. So each of the software, we have a brief what? Description for you to have an idea of what is designed to do. Now, the third one, libraries. Libraries. So you need to, but I am not going to use the word installation to describe library. Instead, I will say what? Importation. To import. Because the library can be imported into what? The notebook. So you write, okay, I think we can continue. Just raise the curtain a little. Good, thank you. So let's define library. So like I've earlier defined before, let's re-echo it. Libraries in programming are function containers. Libraries in programming are what? Functions what? Containers. That is where we can access function for reprocessing our data, manipulating the data, or even analyzing data. Where we can access what? Functions for either reprocessing our data, analyzing the data, or performing calculation on the data. Reprocessing the data, analyzing the data, and performing calculations on the data. So for every library you are importing, you need to ask yourself, what set of functions this library will offer me? So since that is clear, let's quickly go through the installation aspect. Right, installation of Anaconda. Probably that is where we will stop once we are done installing it. So the next class, we will now start, some practical on Python properly. Start with Python variable and start learning some basics. So how do we install Anaconda? I believe you can be hearing me and be following the instruction. Make sure your computer is connected to the internet. I told us that I should come with at least how many gig? 2 gig. You already have it now. Good. So now let's quickly run through the steps on how to install the Anaconda. So the first step is for you to open a browser. This, open a browser. Now you simply type download. Hope you are writing down your step. Download Anaconda for Windows. So there are versions for Mac, that is a Apple system. So once I click on this, now it brought me to this list of different directory where I can actually, there's an option that says download Anaconda free latest version. Can you find it? Hope you type the same keyword, download Anaconda, or just type Anaconda download. Are we there, please? I want to make sure that we are going together. What did you type, man? What did you type? You are not seeing the same option I'm having. I have download Anaconda free latest. Can you see it? There is no option like that. You are seeing this one, have you? Which one are you seeing? Window, for window now. Click on the one for window. Now, let me click. Now, what you do is that I don't want to follow this option. Let me see if I can. Though that option works, but I want to check a better option. Let's okay. So let's go to which is not following. Okay. Let me check what's happening there. The Anaconda website direct. That will be more genuine. So that one is from their website. So click on what? This one. Good. Now, let me see. Still loading, I mean. Yeah, now you have to create an account. You have to create an account with them, but the one I want is one that will just ask you for the email, just your email instead of this one. Let me see if I can take my time to get that very one. Anaconda. That one will be better for us. I don't know if I followed this one before. Good. So this is the one I'm looking for. So this one is just your email that you just type. Now, what will happen is that they will send the notification, the downloading link to your email. Then from there, you download it. That one is more genuine. So what they are doing here is email marketing. They are giving it to you free, but they have already access your email. So get ready to be receiving adverts from them. Well, so once you have done that, I have downloaded and installed mine. So I won't go through some of this steps. So once you have done that, you double click on the file. I will come and guide us. And then you observe the installation process to the end. To take some time, depending on your system speed. On some computer, it can take 1 hour. Yes?
After
Click on accept the license information. Sorry, the copyright or the policy. Good. Then you click on submit. Then go to your email. Log into your email. But if you don't have email, you can go and follow that other option, that first one that did not ask us for anything.